Malcolm X was one of the greatest leaders of the 1950s and 60s. So how did Malcolm X become Malcolm X? Malcolm X was born as Malcolm Little on May 19, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska. Throughout his infancy and teen years, Malcolm lived in Lansing, Michigan with his family. While living in Lansing, he experienced some traumatic events such as the death of his father and his mother being admitted into an asylum for the unstable condition she was in to take care of her children. During his childhood, Malcolm aspired to become a lawyer. Unfortunately, the words of his 8th grade teacher told him to become a carpenter instead of a lawyer. This made him lose interest in becoming a lawyer and giving up on his education and becoming a rebellious teen. After becoming a rebellious teenager, Malcolm bounced from the Michigan State Detention Home to the Roxbury section of Boston with his older sister Ella. While living with his sister, he became involved in gang-related activities and ended up with the nickname Detroit Red. In 1946, he served a 6-year prison sentence for robbery. While in prison, he underwent a conversion that led into joining the Nation of Islam. The decision of joining was also influenced by his brother. To keep up with the conditions, he gave up smoking, gambling, and eating meat. Malcolm would also read books to keep himself educated. Soon, he changed his surname to X. After being released from prison, Malcolm helped out the Nation of Islam during its peak. He soon met Elijah Muhammad in Chicago and started organizing temples in different cities such as New York, Philadelphia, and Boston, and even cities in the South. He founded the nation's newspaper, Muhammad Speaks. He initiated the practice at every mail to sell an assigned number of newspapers as a recruiting and fundraising technique. He articulated the racial doctrines of the inherent evil of whites and their natural superiority of blacks. He became the minister of 2 temples, one in Boston and one in Harlem. Soon, Malcolm became the national representative, second in rank to Elijah Muhammad himself. X also helped change the terms to refer to African Americans from Negro and colored to Black and Afro American.
Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies. Everybody is here. As many of you know, last March, when it was announced that I was no longer in the Black Muslim movement, it was pointed out.
Soon, in March of 1964, he left the nation and soon founded the Muslim Mosaic Inc. And during this time, he adopted his Muslim name El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz.
The King, who just got a Nobel Peace Prize, an Uncle Tom. Is this correct, first?
Well, I'd rather say that in the States, there's a law that has recently been passed, or a decision handed down by the court, wherein if you call someone an Uncle Tom, they can sue you for libel.
Well,
so I never refer to them as Uncle Toms. I would say that Uncle Martin is my friend.
In 1965, he founded the Organization of Afro-American Unity as a secular vehicle to internationalize the plight of Black Americans and to make common cause with the people of the developing world to move from civil rights to human rights. Sadly, on February 21st, 1965, while Malcolm X was giving a lecture in Harlem in Washington Heights in the Auditorium Ballroom, he was assassinated. One of the people who killed him confessed, but the other 2 defendants did not say they were not involved. Despite all this, the 3 men were all convicted of murder. In 2021, 2 of the men were both extradited.